All right, we are live. What are we looking at? Tell me about Elon's new America Party. We'll look into the new America Party. So it seems like I haven't looked in much into this, but it seems like Elon has now finally registered the new party. And earlier it was just a conversation, earlier it was just an idea. It was kind of just a poll, just to understand the feel of what everybody's thinking. But now this is real. So let's look into this. Announce the formation of America Party on July 5th, 2025, by viral post. July 5. Okay. Following public fallout with President Donald Trump with the passage after the big, beautiful bill passed, a tax cut and spending bill that Musk furiously opposed, calling it disgusting abomination that would bankrupt the country with waste and graft. The announcement came after Musk conducted a poll on July 4th asking users if they want independence from the two-party system with approximately 65% or 1.25 million participants voting yes. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is like Musk is doing exactly what a person would do. Like when they say, you know how all everybody on a small scale would be like, hey, question the system, question how the society runs and everything. Elon is doing this at the biggest scale. He's like, question the politics of your country and change it if you do not agree with it. So this is crazy. 65% of 1.25 million participants voting yes. Musk claimed the new party aims to challenge the unipart system, his term for the perceived Democrat Republican duopoly, and restore freedom for Americans. All right, let's see. This is the post where it seems to have announced by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our nation with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system or a democracy. Today, the American Party is formed to give you back your freedom. The replies to this announcement are comedy gold. The way we are going to crack the uniparty system is by using a variant of how Epaminondas shattered the myth of Spartan invincibility at Leuctra, extremely concentrated force at a precise location on the battlefield. Wow. Okay, okay. We need to look at those comments as well, but give me a new X window, please. Yes. And let's look into this. This is actually interesting. I don't know. Epaminondas, Theban general, decisively shattered the myth of Spartan invincibility at the Battle of Leuctra through innovative tactics and strategic brilliance. Here's how he achieved this. Oblique order tactic. Epaminondas revolutionized Greek warfare by employing an asymmetrical. Bro, this name is crazy. Epa. Ipa revolutionized Greek warfare by employing an asymmetrical formation. Instead of distributing his forces evenly, concentrated his elite sacred band and heavily armored hoplites on his left wing, creating a deep phalanx, 50 ranks deep, far stronger than the typical 8 to 12 ranks. This allowed him to target the Spartan right wing, where their best troops and King Cleombrotus I were positioned. Deliberate asymmetry. He deliberately weakened his right wing, instructing it to advance slowly or hold back while his reinforced left wing struck swiftly. This oblique order disrupted the traditional battle phalanx battle, catching the Spartans off guard and preventing them from leveraging their numerical or reputation advantage. Cavalry and coordination. Uses cavalry effectively to screen his left wing's advance and harass the Spartan line, creating confusion. His disciplined troops, particularly the Sacred Band under Pelopidas, executed a rapid, coordinated assault that broke the Spartan right before the rest of the armies fully engaged, exploiting Spartan weakness. The Spartans, with about 10,000 troops, relied heavily on their reputation and traditional tactics. Epoch, commanding roughly 6,000 to 7,000 Thebans, exploited their overconfidence. By targeting Cleombrotus directly, he disrupted Spartan command early. Cleombrotus was killed, causing disarray. Psychological impact. The Spartan army, unaccustomed to defeat, collapsed after the right wing was routed. The loss of thousands of Spartans, including 400 elite Spartiates, was unprecedented. This shattered the aura of invincibility that Sparta had cultivated through victories like the Peloponnesian War. Even victory at Libya ended Spartan hegemony in Greece, weakened the military dominance, and elevated Thebes as a power. EPA's tactics influenced later commanders, including Philip II and Alexander the Great, reshaping military strategy. Wow. What is this formation he's talking about? Doo 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 doo. I heard this new song at a bar and now it's stuck in my head. It's actually a good song. So, all right. So right here, this is it. This is it. Thank you. Thank you. Tactics and formation. The Theban oblique line. Theban oblique line. Congrats, Tesla short sellers. Once again, they are set up beautifully. With those arguing third parties steal votes. Should have thought about that before alienating people from your coalition. Nobody owes the loyalty to any party, including the Dems and Reps. Taking the old ground isn't a good strategy. Change only happens if you have the guts to take a chance this time for a third party. Tap, truth, action, prosperity. Let's build a party that taps into America's true potential. What do you think? Or a billion people. Wait, is this billion? Over a billion people voted in this poll. This clearly what the American people want. Independence is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party system. That's a million. Hopefully, the American party is on Western education. One way to execute this, if you don't understand this thing, this part. Let's go back. Okay. Audio. Actually, let's see. What else we have? Formula Polex, sports, Rolling Stone to break up with Trump. He's doing the Doge father, discussing a bomb in nation. He could begin by focusing on a few congressional races, although he did not say which ones. When it comes to bankrupting a country based on graph, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. America Party org. We have not launched or endorsed any cryptocurrency or tokens. Balancing budgets, empowering futures. The America Party is a movement of everyday citizens committed to pragmatic solutions, fiscal responsibility, principled leadership, and a brighter future for all Americans beyond red and blue. We are the Teal movement. Wait, is this what it's supposed to be? I don't think so. This is wrong. Support small businesses a digital bill of rights, endorsing free expression and next gen nuclear power. Space frontier is among its key pillars. It calls to invest in launch tech, lunar logistics, and Mars R&D, unlocking in-orbit industry and space mining world. So America leads the next great leap. Merit-based immigration, STEM first education, and contingency pilot projects for universal basic income and AI reshapes work. Musk spent 290 million during the 24 election campaign to support Trump and Republicans. He then became the head of Trump's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which oversaw mass firings throughout the government and led Trump's efforts to consolidate power over Americans' personal data and key federal systems. Da-da-da-da-da. His favorability numbers have shot down substantially since the start of the year, a trend that could continue if Trump keeps attacking him. Felt dejected following the end of their bromance, calling his former ally big time drug addict in a phone call. Shortly before he left the administration, Musk said he had done enough political spending and that he would do a lot less in the future. have to take a look at the possibility of deporting Musk from South Africa. He also threatened to cut off Musk's company's subsidies. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon will probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this big money to be saved. I'm saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past few weeks. He even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for them. The one thing third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos, and we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats who have lost their confidence and their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth running machine that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. It's a great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates the ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, which would have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. Now suggested his party could focus on congressional races. He previously said that he would target lawmakers who supported the big, beautiful bill. One way to execute on this would be to laser focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Given the razor thin legislative margins, that would be enough to serve as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people. Particularly after Trump's 3.3 trillion spending bill, which economists estimate will add 3.4 to 4.5 trillion to the national deficit over the decade. Without transparency, claiming it was never shown to him and that Congress had little time to review it. Feud with Trump escalated, with Trump calling Musk's plan ridiculous and suggesting he had gone off the rails. Proposed a laser focused approach targeting smaller congressional seats to influence key votes on contentious legislation given the narrow margins in Congress. He believed this could make the American Party a deciding force in Washington. According to the party's website, supports small business, a digital bill of rights emphasizing free expression, next-gen nuclear power, space frontier initiative to invest in launch technology, lunar logistics, and Mars R&D to lead in space exploration industry aligned with Mars SpaceX goals. Listed as a primary candidate in Federal Election Commission FEC filings with Indian origin Tesla CFO Web of Tanesha, named as treasurer. No other official leaders have been confirmed. Though speculation on X suggests figures like Representatives Thomas Massey, who opposed Trump's bill, might be involved. The party is headquartered at One Rocket Road. One Rocket Road, so very American. Indian origin Web Tanesha listed as treasurer of Elon Musk's American party. Hmm. One Rocket Road. Let's look at this. SpaceX. We see the SpaceX logo. Oh, Crenshaw Boulevard. When your company is so significant that you can just name name it. You can just name it. Rocket Road. It's called Rocket Road anywhere. No, it's not called Rocket Road. It's called Crenshaw Boulevard. But why not? Just name it Rocket Road. Okay. Really cool. Tesla CFO Vaibhav Taneja. Indian American born education BCom from Delhi University, chartered accountant, worked at PwC, then Solar City, joined Tesla in 2017, compensation 139 million in 24, exceeding top tech leaders. Officially filed paperwork with FEC on July 6, 2025 to establish the America Party, AMEP, America Party. However, multiple similar named entities with Doge or X in the name appeared in the FEC database, causing some confusion about formalization. He might have something related to X. What to know, the Daily Beast. Okay, MAGA and Trump are allies. Backlash from MAGA influencers and Trump supporters who fear the American Party could split the Republican vote and inadvertently boost Democrats. Prominent figures like Laura Loomer predicted defections from Republicans like Tucker Carlson or Marjorie Taylor Greene, while Steve Bannon called Musk a buffoon and questioned his ability to form a party's South African-born individual, even suggesting deportation. Historically ineffective and mocked Trump, Musk as a train wreck. Political viability. Critics argue that third parties in the US face significant structural barriers, citing historical examples like the Rose Parrots Reform Party, which won 90% of the popular vote but no electoral votes. Electoral field suggesting the party would struggle to match even the Libertarian Party's vote share. Fox News. Since one day after Trump signed 3.3 trillion big beautiful bill into law. The sweeping 3.3 trillion legislation includes tax cuts, infrastructure spending, and stimulus measures, and has drawn criticism for fiscal conservatives and libertarians. The West did not reference the bill directly in his American Party post. The timing suggests rising friction between the billionaire and the president. Musk has previously warned that unchecked spending by both parties threatened the long-term health of the economy. Create a swing bloc powerful enough to hold the balance of power and block what Musk sees as the worst excesses of both Republicans and Democrats. Okay, so the goal at the start would not be, wow, this is going to be so interesting. I think this goes back to Signal and Signal, the Elon account on Twitter, and how he said like the he had this beautiful post, he had this beautiful writing about the all-in pod and how the all-in pod just seems like they are just like, how would they go all in when if by not supporting Trump, you are alienating your best friend and all your work. By not supporting Trump, you are alienating your entire audience, your entire conservative audience. So how do you go all in? And if we talk about David Sachs is right now in working with President Trump, but also he is good friends with Elon. So what is he going to do? So on the right voiced concern in the comment section that a third party will split the conservative vote and help Democrats win more easily. Take votes from the right versus the left and give the left an easier path to power. Reforming the GOP from within. Informal on limited American voters and vulnerable to bots. Third parties have traditionally had a difficult time gaining ground in American politics as the system is built for two dominant parties. Electoral college winner take all elections and strict ballot access. Laws outsiders cannot meaningfully compete. Even when a third party candidate catches fire, it rarely lasts beyond a single election cycle. Wow. The last biggest effort was in 1992. He earned nearly 19% of the popular vote as an independent, but didn't win a single electoral college vote. He was a third-party candidate ever got into the White House after President Teddy Roosevelt's famed Moose Party run in 1912 against his one-time protege, William Howard Taft. Others like Ralph Nader have tried with the Green Party and Gary Johnson with the Libertarian Party, but no third party candidate has come close to winning the presidency. As the leader of the Republican Party, President Trump has unified and grown the party in a way we have never seen, having earned the largest share of votes for Republican presidential nominee and secured majorities in the House and Senate, and with his historic domestic policy agenda swiftly and successfully passed through one big, beautiful bill with resounding GOP support, the party is stronger than ever and locked up with Trump's agenda. What is the reaction from the host of All In podcasts on Elon's New American Party? So it seems like Grok is improving. So if it's improving, let's see how it responds to this. All right, so let's identify clearly all the guests. This question was very layered. Oh, but we don't have anything over here. Okay, let's see. Strong support among his followers with 80.4% of 5.6 million respondents in an earlier June. So it seems like what is Elon's strategy? Elon's strategy is not to become the president. It's more about that having the right amount, having just enough power in this decision-making rooms such that when they do not agree with something, they can tip over the vote to no because the margin is very little. So how do you just create, how do you just get enough seats in whatever the two houses are, the House and the Senate, so that when a major decision, a major bill like this, a decision has to be made on a major bill like this, you can tip over the vote if you do not agree and if that doesn't align with your principles. All right, let's see. 80.4% of 5.6 million respondents in an earlier June 2025 poll expressing frustration with the two-party system. Broader public perception remains unclear, and some experts suggest Musk's move is more about marketing or personal branding than viable political strategy. Tesla and business impact. Political ventures have reportedly hurt Tesla's stock. The problem is now that Tesla was already being attacked by one side. If he goes for this third party, now they will be attacked from both the sides. So that is very interesting. And right now, the side with power could also use that legislative power, judicial power, and whatever the other powers are. Like it's more like formal power rather than just the power of yeah. Okay. Political ventures have reportedly hurt Tesla stock with investment from Azoria Partners delaying plans to invest in Tesla and urging its board to address Musk's divided focus. The interesting part is that everything, it's not about divided focus. It's like everything now affects everything. Everything now affects everything. With this bill, it is already affecting Tesla, is already affecting the sales of Tesla. It is gonna uh, affect some of the things that are on the roadmap for SpaceX. Musk, born in South Africa and a naturalized US citizen since 2002, is constitutionally eligible to run for president due to the requirement of being a native born citizen. However, he could still fund and influence the party significantly, potentially redirecting resources from his America PAC. I'm really surprised why Grok is pulling all either only these Indian uh, only these Indian news channels or news whatever news channels are reporting this correctly, or for some reason Grok is preferring them. So we don't know what's happening. Musk has floated the idea of an inaugural American Party Congress, asking followers on X for suggestions on its timing and location, including plans to formalize the party structure. Solution to broken systems reliance on its personal wealth and influence raised question about its democratic legitimacy. The party's focus on niche issues like space exploration, nuclear power reflects Musk's business interests, potentially alienating voters with more immediate concerns. The backlash from MAGA suggests a risk of fracturing the conservative base, but the US has first passed the post-electoral system historically crushes third-party efforts. Musk's history of provocative online statements also invites skepticism about whether this serious endeavor or public publicity stunt to pressure Republicans. Have not released a new episode addressing Elon Musk's announcement. Uh-oh. And the latest, as of the latest available information, a web source from June 9 noted the podcast skipped an expected episode following the public feud, which preceded the America Party announcement. This absence led to speculation on social media about their silence, given their known connections to both Musk and Trump. Hesitant to address the issue due to its sensitivity, as they have previously supported Trump and are friends with Musk. No direct statements. Okay. Mr. Elon Musk, I'm all for moving America to the center. I'm definitely down for that cause. Sign me up. Create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle. Yes, I'm so sick and tired of the bait and switch BS. America is not a piggy bank that you can keep smashing open and expect it to function. Dismantle the establishment. When 5.6 million people tell you they are politically homeless, perhaps it's time to bulldoze the entire neighborhood. Elon's proposed America Party resonated with 80.4% of respondents who are tired of the establishment's duopoly. 43% of Americans claim independence, rejecting both parties. Among independents, 46% view Elon favorably. Even 34% of Democrats see him positively. Republicans love his budget cutting, 72% approval. He's uniquely positioned to unite anti-establishment forces from both sides against Washington's permanent political class. Stephen A. Smith, Nicole Shanahan, and countless others sense the establishment's grip weakening. History wants third parties to fail, but Elon brings unprecedented resources, platform, and timing. Technology has democratized politics. The America Party is, in its elegant simplicity, could finally give the 80% what they want: destruction of the swamp, and not just new management. Not just new management. Wow. America. It's very interesting, like how they just got the America handle. They got, yeah, that's crazy. Platform where Elon Musk support candidates who champion secure borders, sensible spending, safe cities, fair justice system, free speech, and self-protection. If the country goes insolvent, if all the money is just spent on paying interest on debt, there's no money left for anything. A country is no different from a person. Country overspends, country goes bankrupt, same as person who overspends goes bankrupt. So it's not optional to solve these things. It's essential. Second Amendment is sacred. Gun owners want to know where the America Party stands on guns. The Second Amendment is sacred. Dark Doge, and Night Watchman Street for all. Queen of the Libertarian Unicorns. Well, the Second Amendment is sacred. America's elections must be secured. Well, harvesting scheme in Texas. Hmm. Our defense budget is pretty gigantic. It's $1 trillion. The interest we owe on the debt is now higher than the defense budget. This is not sustainable. When and where should we hold the inaugural American Party Congress? Leaders in California will help illegal aliens evade arrest from ICE. Meanwhile, they had American citizens arrested for paddleboarding during COVID. Extremely proud to be American. Generation Z. Elected judges should not have the power to open America's borders. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. 90% of US aid foreign aid never actually made it to the intended destination. Let's go back. And we were here. And it said again, something the city could finally. Da-da-da. We decided to launch an American party. It would result in the perhaps biggest electoral humiliation of many public individuals in generations. He would struggle to find candidates who even get the same vote share as the Libertarian Party would in most race. Terrible idea. All it's going to do is hand over any future election to the Democrats. Third parties are a failed experiment in America. They only hurt Republicans. Let's hope this is just a side hobby of his that fizzles out quickly. Even the never Trumpers won't do it because it would be career suicide from them. Hmm, interesting. What do you want to look at now? Let's look at Elon's latest post. Tax cuts are worthless if the government keeps overspending. Inflation is the real tax. Okay, let's go over here. We'll keep this thread on, and over here we will go Elon. Oh, okay. So he just retweeted because Max Verstappen is over here. I think there is an effort in general to just get a bunch of celebrities back on Twitter. It seems like if you look at it, I don't think Max has tweeted before this a lot. F1 World Champion, keep pushing the limits. There are tweets. Zacchaeus Maximus, number one, ranked hardcore. One mistake and you are dead forever. America Party is needed to fight the Republican Democrat Party. US debt rises irrespective of who is in the House. Debt ceiling suspensions, extraordinary measures to exceed debt ceiling, Republicans in office, Democrats in office. Debt ceiling suspensions. Imagine you go out and receive tons of death threats. Your company is under fire, but you keep your head on the mission to cut costs, thinking you are doing your part to save our country. You bring in the best and brightest young minds, convincing them, even though they get death threats too, you make big progress, toiling every day, 16 plus hour work days, never complaining. You convince yourself it's worth it because you love the country and want a better future. Then all your work is thrown out of the window by some spending bill that increases the deficit and raises the debt ceiling by 5 trillion. And then you find out in 2 years they are going to need to raise the debt ceiling again because 5 trillion is going to be added to the federal debt over the next 2 years. Then the president says you are off the rails and a train wreck, and you have to bite your tongue because how do you reply to that? You can make up the stuff. What was the point of Doge if he's just going to increase the debt ceiling by 5 trillion? So we need to understand over here, I mean, to increase debt ceiling 5 trillion. Let's see. Yes, okay. Would raise the legal limit on how much it can borrow to cover its existing obligations and future spending, allowing the national debt to grow by an additional 5 trillion above the current cap. Statutory limits set by the Congress on the total amount of debt the US Treasury can issue to fund government operations, including paying for existing commitments like Social Security, Medicare, military salaries, interest on existing debt, and other programs. National debt is approximately 34.8 trillion. Debt ceiling was last suspended or raised in December 24 to avoid default, with a new limit or suspension likely in place by mid 25. How's more boring? Can issue an additional 5 trillion in treasury bonds to cover budget deficits when spending exceeds revenue and meet obligations without defaulting. This doesn't directly authorize new spending, but enables the government to pay for already approved programs and debts. Context of the increase, 14 to 15% of the current national debt, about 20% of annual GDP. The debt ceiling was raised by 423 and recent deals. 3.3 trillion spending bill criticized by Musk have added 3.4 to 4.5 trillion to deficits over a decade per economist. Avoids default. Raising the ceiling prevents a default on US debt, which could otherwise trigger a global financial crisis, spike interest rates, and crash markets. Higher interest costs, more borrowing increases. Interest payments on the debt in 24 interest costs were projected at 892 billion annually, 13% of the budget. A 5 trillion increase at current rates could add 200 to 250 billion in annual interest costs, inflation and growth risk. Critics like Musk argue that excessive borrowing fuels inflation and risk long-term economic instability. Voters claim it's necessary to fund critical programs and stimulate growth. Republicans may demand spending cuts while Democrats may push for revenue increases. Musk's America Party formed opposes such increase, citing fiscal irresponsibility, which economists say adds trillions to deficits, likely informs his stance against debt ceiling hikes. He called the bill a path to bankruptcy, suggesting his America Party would advocate for fiscal restraint, potentially opposing a 5 trillion increase unless tied to significant reforms. Somehow being a centrist is now considered a radical, batshit crazy idea. How did we get here? While times having to mute a lot of accounts on both sides. David Shapiro. Oh, David Shapiro. A maximalist anti-doomer, psychedelics advocate, post-labor economics evangelist, meaning economy pioneer, post-nihilism shill. The reaction is insane, means he's doing something right. It is hotter than Satan's Swamp in Arizona. We were at night, we didn't bother going to fireworks when it was 105 Fahrenheit at night. We enjoyed the fireworks together as a family. Were close enough to hear the mortars launch, the thump of PVC pipes, and a sudden vacuum. Grok understands memes. Think about that. When I grow up, I can buy all the games I want, yes, but you won't have time to play them. Explain what it means. Post shares a meme highlighting the bittersweet reality when as a kid you dream of buying all the games you want once you're grown and wealthy, but adult responsibilities leave no time to play them. Echoes the sadness. If you are an Scott Adams, who's Scott Adams? Audiobook for God's Debris, the complete works, and how to fail at almost everything and still big win. Key takeaways. Scott Adams' book, How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big. I know the story of my life. Personal anecdotes, practical advice, achieving success despite setbacks. Prioritize systems over goals instead of focusing on specific rigid goals. Become millionaire. Create systems, daily habits, or processes that increase your odds of success over time, such as learning new skills. Why it matters, goals can lead to disappointment if unmet, while systems are flexible, sustainable, and compound over time. For example, Adam suggests writing daily to improve creativity rather than aiming to write a bestseller. Own system of experimenting with ideas, cartoons, blogs led to Dilbert's success despite many failed ventures. Failure is a tool, not an endpoint. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity that refines your skills and strategies. Most of Adam's ventures, failed startups, inventions flawed, but each taught him something that contributed to his eventual success. Reframing failure reduces fear and encourages risk taking, which is essential for innovation and growth. Adam's early cartoons were rejected, but the feedback helped him refine Dilbert's style and humor. Build a talent stack. Success doesn't require being the best at one thing, but being pretty good at several complementary skills. Talent stack. His own stack includes drawing, humor, business knowledge, and writing, which combine to make Dilbert unique. Diverse skill set makes you versatile and increases your chance of standing out in a competitive world. Adams wasn't the best artist or writer, but his combination of skills made him uniquely suited to create a globally syndicated comic. Energy is the foundation of success. Optimize your personal energy through diet, exercise, sleep, and positive habits, as energy drives productivity and creativity. Adams credits his success to managing energy levels like eating healthy and exercising regularly. High energy allows you to work harder, think clearer, and persist through challenges. Adams suggests simple hacks like eating protein-rich breakfast or scheduling creative work when your energy peaks mornings for most people. Passion follows action, not the other way around. Don't wait for passion to strike. Start doing things that passion will emerge as you gain competence and see results. Adams wasn't initially passionate about cartooning, but grew to love it as he improved. Waiting for the perfect passion can lead to inaction. Starting small builds momentum. Adams experimented with various careers, banking, tech, before finding cartooning, which he grew passionate about through practice. This is so cool. So I went from banking, tech, and then realized that, oh, what I really love is just cartooning. Interesting. Da-da-da-da. Simplify and say yes to opportunity. Simplify. Also, I don't know why this just reminds me of the fact that today I saw the Ferrari SUV, the new Ferrari SUV, and I remember I don't remember what was the topic we were covering. I think we might be covering the rise of we might be covering Lamborghini SUVs and how Ferrari's kind of taking inspiration from them and also launching their own SUV. But I remember talking about this. Maybe we were looking at the Ferrari story, either, or we were looking at the Lamborghini story. I also watched the Lamborghini movie, and maybe it came from there. Uh, but it was very interesting to finally see that Ferrari SUV in front of me. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I think it definitely looks amazing in a photo with that electric red color. But the one I saw was like gray, matte gray. I believe it had a wrap, matte gray wrap, and it looked beautiful. It was looking beautiful. People were like walking past and they're like, "What is this car?" And how, like, when did Ferrari launch an SUV? Simplify your life to focus on what matters. Cut unnecessary commitment. Simplify and say yes to opportunities and say yes to new experiences as they can lead to unexpected opportunities. Took on side projects that seem risky but open doors. Simplicity reduces distractions and openness to opportunities expand your network and skill set. Willingness to try blogging and social media early on boosted Dilbert's reach even though he initially doubted their value. Try blogging and social media. Use affirmations to shape your mindset. Repeating positive affirmations how a successful cartoonist can focus your subconscious on achieving outcomes, though Adams admit the mechanism is unclear, possibly placebo or selective attention. Affirmations can boost confidence and keep you motivated even if they don't cause success directly. Adams used affirmations before Dilbert took off, creating them with helping him stay focused despite rejections. Use affirmations to shape your mindset, with helping them stay focused despite rejections. Luck is a numbers game. You can't control luck, but you can increase your luck surface area by taking more risks, meeting more people, and trying new things. Adams attributes such much of his success to being in the right place at the right time, made possible by persistent effort. The more you engage with the world, the higher your chances of stumbling into a lucky break. Big break came when a syndicate editor noticed Adams' work after years of submissions. Humor and perspective are key. Maintain a sense of humor and perspective to navigate life's ups and downs. Adams' self-deprecating tone and ability to laugh at his failures kept him resilient. Humor reduces stress and helps you stay grounded, making it easier to bounce back from setbacks. I recently had a failure. I recently had a failure just 2 days ago, 2 days ago, and it was amazing. Like when you, these are just like really strong emotions. You feel these really strong emotions, and it is really important to channelize those emotions. So there are two things. Number one, yeah, number one, learn, and number two, reflect. So number one is learn, like fun, like you have YouTube, you can read a book, you can watch YouTube videos and see how other people have uh who have gone through similar experiences, how they manage that. So number one is just learning from other people and learning from it's a great motivation. It channelizes, it makes things clear that okay, what is my problem right now? And I need a solution. So then you start looking for books, uh you start looking for things. And then number two is reflect and spend a lot of time journaling, writing, and clearing your thought process and everything, doing everything, trying to do everything right. Yeah, because the same energy could kind of disrupt your state of mind, but we don't want to go on the bad side. We don't want to go into the we don't want to spiral down. We want to spiral up. Humor and perspective are key. Maintain a sense of humor and perspective to navigate life's ups and downs. Adam's self-deprecating tone and ability to laugh at his failures kept him resilient. Reduces stress and helps you stay grounded, making it easier to bounce back from setbacks. Find humor in frustration. Focus on what works for you. Ignore one size fits all advice and tailor strategies to your personality, strengths, and circumstances. Ignored advice to focus on stable career instead pursuing creative projects that suited his quirky mindset. Personalized approaches are more effective and sustainable. Okay, this is very interesting. This was really helpful. Scott Adams, thank you. Dilbert. Wow. If you are an analogy thinker, you compare Musk's New America Party to Ross Perot's third party run and concluded is bad for Republicans, but that would not be the case if Musk someday backs an American party candidate for president. I don't see that in his plan. If Musk only backs individual senators and representatives for his new party. As he has hinted, all he does is give Republicans a new way to get past politics solutions the country wants and needs, such as deficit reduction. The beta version might be buggy, so expect bumps. Political parties often grow beyond the control of the founders. If the party is successful with the targeted Congress approach, it will inevitably lead to presidential aspirations. This will be inevitable if initial success is achieved. Obviously, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You start small, and then if you believe that you can be the president, you will be the president. Elon can obviously not be the president, but let's see. Elon revolutionizes politics the way he revolutionized car, space travel, brain chip, satellite-based Wi-Fi, and tunnel digging. I'm excited to see him actually drain the swamp. For all the people who want to see the Democratic Party destroyed, not many have considered what that actually looks like. What it looks like isn't Republican superdominance in all future elections. What it looks like is the Democratic Party becoming the new third party choice. Wow. Launching a new party means building a platform, registering with the FEC, winning ballot access state by state, and recruiting candidates, all while dodging lawsuits from Democrats and Republicans trying to block it. Elon's move target just 2 to 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Skip the national circus. It where margins are razor thin. He's polling millions on X, has an existing pack, and could crowdsource signatures quickly and easily. If he pulls it off, it could be the biggest disruption to US politics in recent memory and the beginning of a new third party era. Breakthrough prize. I think SpaceX came out of breakthrough prize, right? We'll look into breakthrough prize. Interesting. What is this? No windmills in China. You mean the China that's building wind power 2x as fast as the rest of the world combined? That China? Taller than a 63-story skyscraper and laughs in the face of typhoons. A single turbine churns out enough power for 55,000 homes a year, saving 30,000 tons of coal and blocking 80,000 tons of CO2 from hitting the air. 31% bigger than the previous world's largest turbine in China, stacking wind and solar so fast it hit its 2030 clean energy goal 6 years early. Installed 65% of all new global wind power, and now it's rolling out the largest turbines ever built. Reduce responsible spending, only modernized military with AI robotics, pro tech expert to win in AI, less regulation across board, but especially energy, free speech, pro natalist, centrist policies everywhere else. If they were serious about electing better Republicans, they would have worked toward that already. Instead, they pushed the opposite nearly a decade into Trump's GOP. There's now no practical difference between the Freedom Caucus and establishment. The establishment won. America Party will have voters from left and the right. What will they have in common? Sense. And folded like a cheap suit. National debt is a disaster. Government spending is not far in excess of government revenue. That's a fundamental issue that we we have a deficit of 2 trillion, and we have interest payments that now exceed the entire budget of the military. That was a big wake up call for me. Was when the amount of money that we pay in national debt interest exceeded the defense department budget, and the defense department budget is very big, and interest is higher than that at climate. I think the problem is like you would realize all these things when you are so big, your companies are so big that you start getting affected by that. So I believe that has started happening with Elon. US federal deficit to be 2.4 trillion 25 and 2.4 to 2.5 trillion 26. So we'll be adding about 5 trillion to the federal debt in the next 2 years. What the politicians didn't tell you is that 5 trillion debt ceiling increase just passed will last us just 25 months. With the debt ceiling raised by 5 trillion on July 4, 25, and annual deficits of 2.4 consumed in approximately 25 months, reaching 41.1 trillion by August 27th. Congress will need to raise the debt ceiling again by then to continue funding obligations. The dollar will be worth noting if the US doesn't do something about its national debt. The most entertaining outcome is the most likely. So this was announced 5th July, yesterday, 54 million views. Okay. Oh wow. Happy 4th of July. Starbase, Texas. Starbase is a US city in the Rio Grande Valley. Wow. They have a Twitter account for a city. Wow. Beach parking where they would bring their own food and drinks. Wow. I can actually supporting the response was testing site alongside Cameron County. Complete the process of signing Starbase as new zip code and officially renaming the area. At that point, residents of Starbase will be able to update your driver's license. Accurately counted and included in the final results. Becoming a city will help us continue building the best community possible for the men and women building the future of humanity's place in space. Wow. Happy 4th. Creating some fractal fireworks with Gemini. Da, 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 da. Who is John Cross? Okay. Happy birthday, America. Loop already successful. If successful, it will completely change the game. In spite of few conservative provisions to expose the deficit in the near term, this is Washington's MO, short-term politicking over long-term sustainability. Tell it like Bukowski. Listen, kid, this American party ain't no polished stream. It's a raw gut punch to the bloated uniparty beast must says grab a fistful of Senate seats and House districts, razor thin like a hang over edge, hold the swing board, force laws to bow to the real folks, not the suits sucking whiskey in back rooms. Independence, hell, it's brawl for the soul, dirty and true. We have improved grok significantly. You should notice a difference when you ask grok questions. All right, perfect. That's the stream. That's the stream. 59. Okay, we need 30 more seconds to hit 1 hour. And then we can go. Wow, so what countries have ultra low fertility? Lithuania, Poland, Costa Rica, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Singapore. Build the world without using AI and without computers at all until the middle of 20th century. Perfect. 1 hour hit.